Welcome everybody to the second.
Whoa!
Whoa! Welcome everybody to the second Shaman podcast. I am here with Petko. Petko is here with myself, Barokoshama, and we're very excited today to talk about some shaman stuff. Shaman shit, shaman, just shit talk shaman in Shadowlands. The 4 S's. So, just to be able to give you guys a track of what we're going to be talking about today, and I'll be linking the timestamps to the discussion points down below. First conversation topic is going to be builds, covenants, conduits, stuff like that. Second is going to be Mythic Plus rating, progression rating. Okay, there's a big difference. Mythic Plus builds, or Mythic rating builds is what I meant to say. Mythic Plus builds, professions for Pugs / group play. How Shaman fits into the current Mythic Plus meta in comparison to other classes. Rotational play, how you do it right now in Mythic Plus. The philosophy of bug abusing in beta and even when bugs are happening in regular game past launch. So, for example, Echoes of the Great Sundering, legendary bug abusing, and the recent changes to the beta, where that puts everything in order. Why don't we start with the builds, covenants, and conduits? And actually, the recent changes does play into this a little bit. But let's talk about first Kyrian, the Vesper Totem, and the Vial of Serenity, allowing you to take off debuffs, magical effects, poisons, and bleeds. I don't know about you, Petko, but I feel like this is still a very useful option for Shaman specifically because of our lack of defensives when looking at the standard Covenant ability alone.
I can describe Kyrian with only one word, and that is dog. That's it. I don't think I need to say
dog.
Else. Yeah, Kyrian is right now, I would say, the least favorable to be played as Mythic Plus, especially on Shaman. I'm not sure if you have seen the patch or maybe you did miss it, but they buffed the Night Fae for us. So Night Fae could be optionally open for thumb testing. I haven't tried it myself, but it looks pretty interesting. It's buffed, so it's definitely due to some, testing on Simcrafts. So we'll see how that's going to play out myself. But Kyrian for sure. If you do play Kyrian as a Shaman Elemental in Mythic Plus, you're actively actually hitting the mobs and trolling. So, yeah. Nothing else to say.
Actively trolling. Okay.
I mean, it's trolling. It is big troll. Anyway.
I mean, Vesper Totem is like definitely the least favorable to play with.
Yeah.
Also, we can agree on that. But the Vial of Serenity is still a really good choice. If you look at just how it fits into the whole Shaman kit, right?
For sure, it's distant choice if you suck at the game and then take a lot of damage. Of course it is. The main problem with Shaman is surviving those high damage intakes. Or for example, the reason why he doesn't have immunity. The reason why Shaman is one of the least favorite classes because lack of immunity plus lack of passive mitigation, except in the case of Ghost Wolf, and that is only talented with Spirit Wolf. That takes time to ramp up.
Yeah.
So that is like one of the main problems that we had ever since the pretty much season 1 of BFA. We had this problem, and this problem has been addressed many times. That's why you don't see as many Shamans on a high key levels, and especially competitive Mythic Plus as well. We're very cooldown reliant, and we also don't have immunity, and we have low passive mitigation. And I guess self-sustain is fine if you play Ancestral Guidance. And by the way, they put our Ancestral Guidance AG in off GCD, which is obviously a decent change, but
it's the best change that we've gotten in Shadowlands. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that is definitely gonna increase our DPS by a mile.
So much DPS increase.
Speaking about just DPS, I'm gonna put it in the perspective. Our major cooldown right now, which is the Fire Elemental or Storm Elemental. But Storm Elemental is slightly more damage output throughout the overall dungeon. But if you play Fire Elemental without Primal Elementalist, your Elemental is between 2 to 3% of your overall, and that is your major cooldown. So that's going to put you into perspective how much valuable we are in a way of like cooldown reliance.
I mean, Fire Elemental really isn't our major cooldown anymore, just by the way that it works. Like, or Storm Elemental, like it's so low damage, and we have to run legendaries in order to make it powerful.
Yeah.
So, hold on, let's digress because we still have other topics to talk about. Night Fae, they just buffed it. It does a lot more damage and healing now than its previous iteration, although it has kind of gone up and down through the patches and the builds, right? We've definitely seen a lot of attention gone towards the Night Fae ability. Specifically, we're talking about Fae Transfusion here, and a quick side note for Fae Transfusion is that you can actually buff its damage by an additional 20% when you're using Master of the Elements, because it is a nature shaman spell, so it does fall under the category of that to consume the buff.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Fae Transfusion now? I'm currently running it in the beta because I couldn't actually get over to the Necrolords on the Shaman that I was currently playing, so I had to create a new Shaman so that I could play Necrolords because the Covenant ability questline was bugged.
I haven't actually tested that in Mythic Plus. I've only played around it a bit. I saw it myself and I played with a bit of dummies, but it definitely feels right now with above slightly better, not slightly, but way better than Venter. I previously run Venter and Necrolord, and if for those that don't know, they again nerfed Chain Harvest by, I believe, from 300 something percent to 200 something percent. I don't know the exact numbers.
Yeah, it's 310% to 205, or yeah,
so that's
which is a huge nerf. It's massive, and that's just the damage. It's not even the healing.
Yeah, that's like one third of the power is pretty much cut off. So I would say that alone nerf is something that I myself pay attention to. Yeah, and that would definitely make me switch from Venter 1000%.
Yeah, it's even with being able to copy it with Echoing Shock to, one, reduce its cooldown so that it can be used more often, but two, to also double dip on the damage and healing. Chain Harvest, its base damage now is just far too low even to consider using it solely with Echoing Shock.
Yep. For sure.
One up thing actually on Fae Transfusion is that because of the way that it works, it always does the same amount of damage per cast because it's split damage. So it's good on single target and it's good on AoE.
For sure. I mean, pretty much the reason why we chose Night Fae right now is because the rest 3 Covenant sucks. So we have no choice. We're forced to play it. Except Necrolord, which is decent enough to be played in PvP, Mythic Plus, and Raiding, but outside of this, nothing is pleasant enough to be picked except Night Fae right now.
What's the general ability called? Spirit Walk or whatever? No, what is it called?
Which one?
The Night Fae one that you transform into a fox and you can teleport. What's that called?
No idea. What is that called? I have no idea. It's something Night Fin, I believe. Something like this was Night Fin. What was it?
Night Leap. Anyway, that ability also helps us with the mobility issue. Soul Shape. That's what it's called.
Soul Shape.
Thank you, Chad.
There we go. Okay.
That ability helps us with one of our weak points that Shaman have, and that's obviously mobility. I mean, with the reintroduction of Spirit Walker's Grace back into our baseline toolkit as Elemental Shamans, it definitely really helps with those planned movements. Those planned movement scenarios where you need to be able to continue your damage while on the move. It's a really good 2-minute cooldown now. I think it works perfectly with making Ascendance as a talent back into the viability circle of talents to use. But yeah, Soul Shape really actually makes a difference, especially because the first cast of it allows you to teleport to like a short distance blink, which is pretty valuable because when you compare the Soul Shape to the Venthyr portal thing, even though you can travel twice the distance with the Venthyr portal, I don't know what it's called.
The Venthyr portal is called Door of Shadows.
Door of Shadows, thank you. Even though you can travel twice the distance, because of the cast time of Door of Shadows, the Soul Shape becomes a little bit more useful as a reactive ability. as far as
yeah,
mobility goes.
in a way, I think right now mobility is fine for Shaman. That is not our main issue. Uh, just alone Spiritual Grace closes a lot of holes and windows where we lacked before. So that was the change I really liked. Our main issue, I don't know if you want to talk about issues right now, but our main issue comes primarily from damage output right now. Our
Yes.
numbers are
This
very,
is
very
one of the
low.
talking points, but we're not done with covenants yet. We can
Okay.
make things a little bit more
Sure.
streamlined if we're going to be talking about
Okay.
topics here.
Yeah, absolutely. We can continue with the covenant.
Okay, Necrolords. Actually, no, Venthyr, because we just mentioned Venthyr. We kind of talked about it, but Chain Harvest was our best in Mythic Plus because of the amount of off-healing that it gave you during the Prideful mobs.
Why not?
You could Echoing Shock it, obviously, to generate a shit ton of damage in short windows, right? It was actually a really good burst cooldown in 5 or more targets, or it's 5 or more targets. But even though it felt like it needed to generate Maelstrom, or it needed to do something for our base kit, if we were casting something like that, it still felt like it was missing something, you know what I mean? And not just damage, not just healing. Like, the damage and healing that you get from it is really good, especially the healing part of it. But I just felt like it was missing Maelstrom generation, Maelstrom weapon generation, Riptide stacks that it could give you on the stack or on the cast, right? So that it could be fit relatively easily within your spec that you're playing as a shaman.
Here's my issue with that. It's just another yet ability to press. Now, for the people that would play a shaman, and I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar, in order for you to put out your damage, you need to press a lot of global cooldowns and, in a way, preparation to set your damage, right? That additionally, pressing Chain Harvest solidly adds another global cooldown on top of that, which is, again, something that we want to escape or run away from. And as for now, it's not even worth pressing Chain Harvest. Like, for example, a week ago when Echoes of the Great Sundering bug was still on, I pretty much never pressed Chain Harvest ever, except for a situation where, for example, mobs are going to die very, very fast and I need instant damage fast. That was the only way I was pressing it. I was like averaging between 3 to 4% of Chain Harvest in a dungeon, while having like 9k overalls, for example. So it's pretty much a kind of a reality check to what extent that influenced our DPS. And as for now, is almost none. That's why I don't even know why they nerfed it. It was already doing bad, and they kept nerfing it. So
I think they only nerfed it because Elemental Shaman could copy its damage, even though they stated that they wanted Covenant abilities to work with Echoing Shock. Yeah. Like the damage nerf doesn't really make any sense other than that.
Yeah,
I felt like it was just a targeted nerf at Elemental Chain Harvest, even though, like,
on the other side, it's very, very useful for Pridefuls. Like, for example, AG plus Chain Harvest on a Prideful, when your healer is behind, you pretty much stop your party. And especially if you're playing Echoing Shock, duplicate a spell, you're pretty much peaking like 3 to 4k HPS in like a matter of 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that's pretty insane.
It was pretty crazy.
But outside of this, its damage is not really up to standard, so I would just definitely skip on that for now.
Okay. And Door of Shadows, we talked a little bit about it. It's more of like a planning positional. Yeah, it's really more of like a mob skip ability or a planned positioned ability where, like, you need to be over there in a few seconds. I'll just precast this to get over there, right? It's not a reactive ability unless you have enough seconds and you know what's actually happening to be able to move your character in a mobility or a gap closer way. And that's what I think actually Shaman was missing. Not mobility, but a gap closer. Because of the way that the removal of Gust of Wind kind of left our class wanting. Back in Legion, Gust of Wind was a mobility spell, but it was also a gap closer spell or a way to escape danger. Exceptionally strong in PvP because of the gap closer. Full of yourself in dangerous situations against melee players, or to get yourself further behind line of sight scenarios. And that's what I think Soul Shape does for us now. It fills that void of Gust of Wind.
I mean, again, as I said, that is I mean, it's not like irrelevant, but it's nothing that will influence me choosing that covenant over something. My main focus is damage output when it comes down to covenants. Obviously, survivability and mobility matters a lot, but I feel like we have enough of this. I don't really need to further extend on that. So I'm looking for something that will bring my damage up to a next level. And currently right now, Night Fae is the choice.
Yeah.
As for now, because everything pretty much sucks. So that is like the only alternative.
It's funny that you say that because like I was forced to go Night Fae because of like the way that Covenants was screwing and bugging as far as like Covenant swaps. Like I had to get off of Venthyr on my main Shaman on the beta, so I was just like, okay, I'll go like Necrolords. I'll try them out since they changed Skybreaker's Fiery Demise and like the Call of Flame trait. Like I was just like, all right, I'll go Necrolord to try it out. And then like that questline bugged, so I was just like, well, I can't go back Venthyr, so I guess I'll go Night Fae.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty okay. I have a theory why they nerfed this. I'm pretty sure one of the Blizzard employees saw the damage output I was pumping on the keys, and he was like, wow, this guy is actually fucking blasting. And the truth is, the more DPS I did, the more DM slides I got in my DMs in Discord. So I was kind of I think people were kind of forced to nerf it, so the female attention of mine would decrease. So definitely kind of
yeah, they were jealous.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, in a way they were jealous.
That, exactly, they saw the female attraction I was getting, and they were like, damn, this guy, you know what, I'm playing Frost Mage main, the developer said, so let him buff it again. That's the truth, no joke. I have an email. Yeah. Anyway,
developers don't watch streams.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But wait, they do actually. No, actually they don't. Never mind, scrap that. They don't.
All right, and finally, Necrolords. With the recent changes to Skybreaker's Fiery Demise, from 25% increased critical strike chance on your Flame Shock to 50% increased critical strike chance, as well as the buff to Call the Flame, increasing your fire or storm elemental duration by a significant amount, 35% longer at base rank. What do we think of Necrolords now, with the Primordial Wave being not only instant cast, so it acts just like a Flame Shock now, but we have an additional Flame Shock, and and we get extra Lava Burst casts on all of our Flame Shock targets. So now we got to think about what this means for uptime on Fire Elemental, as well as Storm Elemental in Mythic Plus.
I mean, it's definitely a decent choice. I even said us in the very beginning, Necrolord might be the play for Mythic Plus, a standard build. As for now speaking, it's most likely the play for raiding. For Mythic Plus, however, that doesn't really reflect when it comes down to like AoE situations. I think it's very useful when it comes down to cleave fights. If there's a spread target, so let's say 2 targets, 3 targets, where we actually needed a DPS bump. Shaman, as you guys all of you know, Shaman struggles the most on 3 targets, and 2 targets were not really the strongest, especially if the tank kites away from an earthquake on 2 targets. So that could definitely fill the gap where we lacked power. But then again, we're looking at a perspective where that change itself wouldn't influence us picking that covenant over, let's say, Night Fae, because Night Fae could potentially seem higher.
But Night Fae is such a long cooldown, and it doesn't have anything to shorten it.
But being honest, like, when do you actually press Lava Burst in a, let's say, 5 to 8 mobs situation?
Well, I guess that depends on when you're using Master of the Elements, like what kind of build you're using, right? So I think like a Primordial Wave build would be a like low skill cap build, right? A standard build to introduce to Pug Shamans that really aren't pushing the highest of keys. That are also like trying to perform as best as they can in raid.
Yeah, for sure. It's in my opinion, more versatile option in a way of like, you can use it in PvP, you can use it in raiding, you can use it in the Mythic Plus.
You dabble in all 3 scenarios when you pick Necrolords, right? It's a really good choice all around as far as like what it can do for your character, for the content that you're, right? But is it the best in Mythic Plus? Probably not, that's up to arguments, and
time will tell, I'd say.
Time will tell, Conduits, though. When we talk about Conduits, the Covenant Conduits, right? Primordial Wave has the one that has a 20% chance baseline. Obviously, this is going to go higher the higher ranks that you have for it. It has a 20% chance to refund or like not incur the CD for Primordial Wave. This could have a lot of use to it with spamming Lava Bursts in even multi-target scenarios, like 4 or 5 targets, depending on how many or what you're using, Fire Elemental, how long your Flame Shocks are lasting, right? I think later on in the expansion, this could be a really, really strong raiding build. Like, Necrolords are really, really strong raiding.
I would just like to inform you that my chat is calling you beta male because your girlfriend is talking in the background at least, and they're saying that you're not telling her to calm her voice, so they're calling you right now beta male.
All right, this is getting
Anyway,
cut from the video.
Yeah, cut it off, okay? Cut it off. Cut it off. All right.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem right now.
No, it's not an issue. But my chat is full of apes here. We're literally saying useful information. The only thing they absorb is how somebody's talking in the background. Anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So rude. We're hosting a darn podcast, and your chat is being monkeys.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're known for. You see that cup? Here you go, bro. See, that I'm the representation of my community. Anyway, beside the point.
So you're the problem.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know what? Let's just cut that. You know, cut on this one and continue with the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you said. In my opinion, I would say time will tell which one is going to be the best covenant. As for now, we can only guess and kind of do a preliminary what is the best. But once the expansion launches, then only then we will know for sure what will be the best. Because as you can see, changes are due to happen pretty much every week. So every Tuesday or Thursday, there's around better changes with different builds. And another, for example, a class that is strong now could be mediocre or bad, and the same goes with the bot class could be very good. I'll give you an example. Mars Hunter was really, really good before yesterday. Now he's I mean, it's not bad, but you know what? It's okay. It's
Dude,
mediocre.
they got completely gutted. Their legendary
True.
that was carrying them got completely gutted.
Yeah, I mean, not only this, but like
I've seen Yoda still do like really good damage on his hunter.
Yeah, for sure. It still pumps, but not as much. You know,
It's not as consistent
okay.
anymore. Like its damage windows is far less.
No, it's still consistent, but the numbers are not as much. You know, the burst is not there.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy burst that we used to
That 35 to 40k burst on a 5 target.
It's not there, but it's definitely, you know, Hunter is definitely solid, but just not comparable to Mage, I would say. That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Mage isn't safe either. They're in the sniper scope, okay? Blizzard's got their eye on them, and they're ready to fire, but they just can't do it all in the patch, right? So, like, they buffed Ice Lance Conduit this patch because the next one, they're nerfing Frost Mage's base damage. They had to.
Yeah. I hope so. And I hope so they removed that Iceland's build because it pisses me off. Last night when I saw it, I was really steaming. Like, why would you? Anyway, I'm not gonna dabble into that. I talked about it today on stream. I don't want to go again. It just doesn't make sense to buff the best performing range in Mythic Plus again, while nerfing the.
Well, now they're the best performing ranged in raid now too.
Wow.
100% uptime. 100% uptime on Icy-veins. Let's do it.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
Let's fucking
definitely
go.
great.
All right. Mythic raiding builds. Progression raiding. What do we think about how Shaman is going to perform in Mythic raiding progression?
Okay, well, that is a topic I don't really want to dabble into too deep because obviously our main focus.
All right, we'll lightly touch on it then.
Raiding. But let's just put a touch on it. I would say, from my personal perspective, because I'm gonna progress myself both on Shaman and Hunter, depending on what my guild needs, or could be any other class they ask me to play. I would say right now we're kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yes, we do
I'd say the
provide.
same.
Yeah, we do provide great utility in a way, and we do have a decent mobility, and damage output is not too bad.
The problem is, I'm gonna ask a question. Why would I pick Shaman over, let's say, a Shadow Priest or Lock for raiding? It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And this is, by the way, what I'm saying right now is primarily focusing on very top end guilds, like cutting edge guilds. But if
Yeah.
you're, let's say, from 100 to top 500, it doesn't really make sense to change anything just because you're forced to play it. You should play whatever you like to play.
Yeah.
And
If
a
you're
Shaman
not like
right now-
top 50 world guild,
Exactly.
like
Yeah, you could play anything.
tell your
Instantly.
raid officers that you're not in a top 50 guild. All right. Tell them that
Exactly.
you're just gonna play whatever the heck you want. All right.
Yeah, and from my own personal experience, if you really like what you play, you can excel way more than being forced to play something that you don't really like to play, or in a way, flavor of the month picks. So yeah, I would just suggest you play whatever you like to play, especially Shaman. Its range is good, it's mobile, it does damage.
It's super fun, and it's
super fun.
it's
Yeah,
satisfying to play. It's probably one of the most satisfying range to play.
yeah, agree. And also
There's
you have
build-ups and
a chance-
payoffs are nice.
Yeah, and you have a chance to go restoration if you need it. You know, if your guild needs a healer, a fifth healer, let's say for some bosses, it's very useful.
Yeah.
You also have an Ankh. You know, when a whole guild wipes, you could Ankh, resurrect, and raise your healer. So you save 5 minutes of your raid instead of sorcering somebody else.
Yeah. 5 minutes of your raid for a 30-minute cooldown. Easy.
Not bad.
Not bad. Hey, that's good utility, man.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. How do we stand when it comes to the overall scope? Not just the current builds, as far as like the classes go. Where do we stack up as far as in the meta for Mythic Plus? Do you feel like the amount of utility that Elemental Shaman bring puts us in a favorable position in the first season of Mythic Plus going into Shadowlands?
Okay, it's too early to have a final judgment on that, or like final per se decision. I would say as for now, after the nerf, we're feeling like we're kind of losing the top contender spot for Mythic Plus groups. From my personal perspective, I would say right now we're somewhere in the middle of the pack at most. Like for example, Shadow Priests, First Mage, Hunters are way better than we are right now. I would even argue we're the
Really,
same
Shadow
damage.
Priests, even with the Shadow Flame Prism nerf, you think they're a lot better?
Absolutely, yes, 1000%.
Because they're not running that legendary anymore, which was doing a lot of their damage.
Shadow Priest right now is better than Elemental. After the nerfs of Elemental, 1000% better.
Okay,
I played myself. Elemental right now is a former Shadow himself. A former Shadow. We're literally competing with Vengeance DH tank DPS.
It's
Like,
true.
no means.
It's true. I've been
literally-
trying the Storm Elemental build in Keys, and
I'm
it's actually
literally-
pretty good, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm literally playing 5 head with my Shaman. I'm playing like imagine how can I try to describe it so you can understand what I'm doing. Okay, imagine Nostradamus and Chuck Norris. That's me combined playing Shaman on a Mythic Plus level, and now imagine Avengers GH spamming his keyboard and doing the same damage as I do. You know, some specs are literally 5 times as easier as Shaman, and they do 5 times more DPS as Shaman. Example, Hunter. It doesn't make any
Frost
sense
Mage.
that they. Oh yeah, you know, it's just pissing me off because I'm doing literally my best and I'm competing with tank DPS as for now. And before, like a week before, almost nobody could catch me. Like literally, I've played on stream for many keys, and people could have seen me. There was barely anybody beating me, even with my standard 200 item level built on my beta.
Yeah.
And that is not me trying to show off. It's just like to showcase how much of a nerf we got. The legendary fix, actually, that was the highest, like the biggest nerf for us.
It
by
was.
far.
It was, but
And
it had to
then you-
happen. It was plaguing the
Oh, yeah.
class for the entirety of
Yeah.
Alpha and
Yeah.
Beta. It was there since the inception of the legendaries.
So you put that, and then you add our best performing legendary nerf in Mythic Plus, Echoes of the Great Sundering, and you also add the Chain Harvest nerf, right? And
Yep.
you also add the Conduit nerf, which was the Earthquake Conduit nerf.
Yep.
It's actually deep right now. That was like one of the best conduits for us. It's great for milestone generation.
Yeah.
Plus, it's great for additional damage without pressing global cooldown.
Yeah.
And those 4 changes after the build yesterday put us really pretty much with Avengers, the 100 DPS.
We have to think
Like-
about all the things that are also like plaguing the class right now, like the uncertainty around that is kind of like surrounding Echoing Shock as a talent is also hurting us, because on the pre-patch we're able to get a free Stormkeeper empowered Chain Lightning out of it. But that's how it acts. So if you Echoing Shock, you use the first stack of your Stormkeeper, Echoing Shock reads your buff bar, copies the Chain Lightning, but then overloads on all the targets hit, and it doesn't consume the second stack of Stormkeeper. But on the beta, it does consume that second stack when it copies. This is a big deal. This is a big deal.
I mean, I've also reported that, and there's one more bug, by the way, with the Conduit, with the free chain lighting. If you have a Stormkeeper precast and you put the Earthquake, the chain lighting that is gonna get generated with that Conduit consume a Stormkeeper stack.
Yes. So it also does that, yeah.
Yeah, that is 2 bugs that I've submitted many weeks ago, and so far they still exist.
We've got no communication on whether or not it is intended, though. But do we just assume that it's not intended based off of what pre-patch is like?
I mean, time will tell. We just need a clear answer from
Yeah.
this.
We do.
Right now I just have to guess to tell you. I don't know. Certainly I don't know. Unless we get a clear answer, I generally have no idea.
Okay.
And by the way, speaking about the builds, really, I'm just gonna put it really quickly. Right now, Enhancer, I believe it outperforms us.
Enhancement Shaman.
Yes.
All right.
Like literally 5 days ago, Enhancer was doing probably twice as less DPS as us. Maybe not twice as less, but let's say if Elemental was here, Enhance would be there. Right now, Enhance is here, and Elemental is like there. You know, I believe we're slightly lower than Enhancer right now, Shaman, currently.
And I mean,
So
like,
that's
it's not
how-
an unfavorable Mythic Plus week for melee, so might as well just swap, right?
Yeah. I mean, Enhancer got some love.
Yep. The
For sure.
what was their changes that they got for
The biggest change was the
Wind Fury
Maelstrom-
weapon?
Wind Fury weapon getting increased by like probably 200% on top.
Yeah, it was 10.8% of attack power, 2 extra
Now it's
attacks.
30.
Now it's 32.4, which was a massive increase.
Yeah. Yeah. for
What's
sure.
really funny is that they got a huge Legacy of the Frost Switch nerf, though. From 100% increased damage on their Storm Strike down to 15% increased damage.
I believe that's gonna get tuned out. For
Yeah.
sure. They also got several Conduits nerf as well.
Yeah,
Magma
they
Fist
did.
is one of them. Yeah.
Magma Fist,
I mean, I
Focus
think-
Lightning, Unruly Winds.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Conduits are due to be tuned out yet, because most of D classes received Conduit nerf. So I would say right now, those changes are not final, but they definitely put a kind of a significant impact on how we look at classes as for now. And my current testing and perception and vision, and after speaking to several people in the Shaman community, I'm certainly sure that Enhancer would alter from Elemental currently in Mythic Plus. As for now speaking, I do not know if that's going to be the case next week or in expansion, but as for now speaking, yes, we are behind. And that is a bad thing.
It is a bad thing. And when we kind of look at the flip and flop of like where we think Blizzard is kind of moving in the direction of Elemental Shaman, it is still very unclear of what their goal is. Like, 1 week they're surrounding us with single target Earthquake build, right? This week it looks like we're going into Lava Burst funneling again, with Fire Elemental uptime being 100% possible. Right? If you have 4 targets, Flame Shocks always up, you have 100% uptime on your Fire Elemental with the Call of Flame, Conduit, and the Skybreaker's Fiery Demise legendary. So there's definitely some very weird occurrences when it comes to what the direction is that Blizzard is taking the class. What
Yep.
our damage profile is going to be.
All right. I think we should just swap to the next topic, which is professions.
Yes. Professions
profession
for
would
Pugs
you-
and group play. I get this question actually quite a lot. on my streams, and the first profession that I'm going to pick up, if it's going to be most beneficial for me, is going to be leatherworking, because if I can get my first legendary sooner just by having the profession, I'm going to run that with that profession.
I would say, from my personal perspective, I would play Java crafting for progress and leatherworking as well. Java crafting primarily because I could reforge my ring with the stats I would like to get, and that could definitely bring me an edge, and also eliminate any RNG that I could possibly, let's say, not be able to get any ring with a socket, which is quite big.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, Java crafting is a must for mythic progress rating, and also could be useful up to the point where you actually obtain lots of gear and you can substitute it, and you can, for example, pick after Java crafting, engineering, or anything else you would like. And leatherworking is essential when it comes down to itemization, and also you would be able to craft your legendary, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's true. So
those
after
two
that, though, after progression is done and we've gotten our legendaries and we're kind of thinking about, okay, what's the next step in progressing our character, making us more useful in those group play environments? What do you think? Engineering is going to become a little bit more valuable. Self-res is back in the game. You have an invisibility, right? You have possibly more displacement and survivability belt buckles, I guess we'll call them, right? Maybe they'll reintroduce the displacement belt buckle, the extra shield that had the 10-minute cooldown for survivability, right? But those battle reses are going to be very, very useful on a class that doesn't have a battle.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that statement. I would say, as for now, engineering will be the second favorable profession after the progress is done. And I would most likely eliminate either leatherworking or Java crafting, depending on what I need to remove, and implement engineering. It does give you a battle res. It gives you also unique tools. For example, you could implement the engineering shield on your belt, or you can get the knockback, which is pretty useful, let's say on Sanguine Week or Bolstering Week, and anywhere where you need to kind of have a control on the mobs could be definitely useful. And then you get a shield, which can possibly save yourself some trouble when it comes down to heavy HPS encounters. So let's say anywhere you would find useful to use that extra damage reduction. It's like pretty much priest bubble in a way every 10 minutes. Pretty neat.
Well, do we know for sure that those are going to be back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they okay, we do? Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool. All right, so what do we think? Because I'm going to skip the rotational play, because we've talked a lot about what and how the class plays. What do we think about the philosophy of bug abusing? And the example of the bug that was plaguing Elemental Shaman for a while was the Echoes of the Great Sundering bug, which when you obtained the buff from the legendary onto your buff bar, it also affected earthquakes that were on the ground. So if you generated enough Maelstrom quickly enough, and usually in your Stormkeeper windows you were able to do this, you could get the initial buff, put an earthquake down, get the buff again, and that buff was now also affecting the earthquake that was buffed prior on the ground, increasing its damage to, what was the exact number? I think it was like 400% total. Like
it's 250. What? It's 250 only by legendary. Then if you do it twice, it's 500. And if you add Master of the Elements on top, it's additional.
Yeah. So what do we think about publicly abusing these kind of bugs to increase, obviously, the amount of damage that we're doing, but also, I mean, when we think about it, it's human nature to follow the path of least resistance, right? So it would be the path of least resistance because the mobs and whatever you're fighting is going to die quicker. You're going to be able to clear the content quicker. But when it comes to a gameplay and testing standpoint, are we right to consistently abuse these bugs on stream?
I mean, I think that is the only way people could recognize, hey, you know what? That is not working as intended. Let's just fix it and send the feedback to class developers, so they could actually work on that and further improve it and fix it for us. So in a way, us as influencers and content creators, that is the only way to kind of get noticeable, and really showing off the power of these bugs that possibly some of them are game breaking. So in my opinion, yes, for us it is essential to do that. Otherwise, people would not know why and how it's bugged. I've got asked many times, how do you do the bug? It's pretty simple, as you have explained yourself, and that is the only way publicly to raise awareness, except from doing actually like a written guide or like a short TLDR video or clip
Yeah.
of you doing it. I believe that is like the only way for us to get any kind of publicity and pretty much light on where this stands for. And in order for us to get fixed fast, it has to get exposed. And as you can see, it took us 2 months ish and a bit more since alpha to get fixed. So that's even 3 months now. Could be even more. I believe alpha was in July even.
Yeah. Do we think maybe it went too far though? As we can see, the Echoes of the Great Sundering Legendary has been nerfed quite significantly.
I let's just say I have how can I say, I have very good gut feeling that Shaman is gonna get tuned up. I'm pretty sure on that statement. Because as for now, our damage profile is very low, like literally comparable to a tank. As for now speaking. With
the build that I'm currently running, which is like the Skybreaker's Fiery Demise, Call of Flame Conduit, and Storm Elemental, to just try and get as much uptime on Storm Elemental throughout the key as possible, just because of the nerf of Echoes of the Great Sundering. I just don't find it that useful anymore in Mythic Plus. Like, it still is a damage increase to your Earthquake damage, but when I look at the base damage of Earthquake throughout the key, it's really, really low. Like, surprisingly and scary low.
It should be between 40 to 45, 50% at most if you're really good at that, but that's about it. It shouldn't be, because for me it's like around 20%.
But are you still running Echoes of the Great Sundering?
Yes, I do.
So that's why it's that high, but I wasn't running it, and it was like 7% of my overall.
Yeah, that's literally negligible.
It's very, very bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is bad.
So
anyway,
what do we think about the recent changes, not just to Shaman, but to other classes in general? Obviously, we're really mad about the Frost Mage changes. We're very upset because it just, like, changes like that have two reactions to it. You either think, oh, so this got buffed, they're definitely going to get nerfed in the next patch. They just couldn't fit it into this patch, right? They're going to be adjusting damage. They're just preparing for that adjustment. So you have that reaction, or you have the reaction of Blizzard doesn't know what they're doing. They're so disconnected from what's actually happening in the game, right? So when it comes to looking at these changes that we see, what reaction do we see strongly or strongest when it comes to Shaman changes? And you can talk about any change that happened in the history of going from BFA to Shadowlands here.
I mean, I think if we have already kind of touched on that, but my own personal opinion is one thing that they should keep in mind is not only, I believe most of their changes and tunings is based on pretty much raiding and raiding progression. As for now, I think that's the priority. And obviously some bugs and glitches and overpowered spells from PvP also gets tuned out. But Mythic Plus is kind of put on the background, not really put as a main pedestal as a comparison to other specs. And I do believe that so nerf is definitely targeting the raid. Now, here's also another issue. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong right now, because I haven't seen everything for Elemental Shaman in raid, Echoes of the Great Sundering was one of the best performing single target legendary as well.
It was.
So I do believe that nerf is intended to be for raid, and unintentionally that impacted Mythic Plus more than raid. And that is something that kind of saddens me, and the kind of neglecting of Mythic Plus perspective. And I could go on a long ramble, and I don't really want to dabble into that, but there aren't much rewards when it comes down to Mythic Plus, especially high Mythic Plus, which is, let's say the same rewards. If you run plus 30 key and plus 15 key, you get the same rewards, and it's kind of unfair. Let's say, for example, when you run, let's say whenever you PvP, right, you have achievements up to like 2.7k if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And people that go, let's say 3.5k or like 3.4k, yes, they get the same rewards, but they get a title at the end.
Yeah.
Let's say versus gladiator, or let's say any gladiator-ish.
I think they are on the way of going in that direction, though, as far as adding more cosmetics, titles, right, mounts, right. I think they're on the way of actually recognizing, not only because of community-run events like the Mythic, what was it? The Mythic Dungeon, Keystone Masters. That was it. The community-run tournaments and stuff like that always does get attention from Blizzard. They look at stuff like that, right? And if the community wants it, eventually Blizzard will implement more things to do with that side of the game. As far as like achievements, like you said, cosmetics, mounts, titles. And that is going to drive more and more people to want to do that kind of stuff. Oh shit, we got a sub.
He's also our top damage.
Let's go. Fucking Shaman.
Fucking Shaman.
I have the best sub sound on Twitch. Hands down. So, it's not a pillar yet of the game as far as like balancing goes, but I feel like it is going to get there. And maybe classes are going to be balanced more, or taken into account. The changes that Blizzard does make are going to be thought of from a Mythic Plus perspective in time, in due time. Weird flex, but okay. Dude, you could have just said it on stream. You don't have, like, the chat. The chat still appears on the stream.
Oh. Okay.
So the big change that happened to... Oh yeah, what were you gonna say?
No. You go on.
Okay.
I'll afterwards. Go on.
So I wanted to talk about Marksman Hunter Legendary Nerf, the complete rework. Just to dabble into some other classes. That's not Frost Mage, because we've already talked enough about Frost Mage. You played Hunter.
I would just say I played a little bit. That's all.
I played a little bit, dude. You completely re-rolled to Hunter in BFA.
Hey, come on, man. It was just my ult, okay? I just played casually from time to time, okay? That's all.
Casual, you literally stopped playing your Shaman. And people from your chat came to me saying that you betrayed them.
I mean, I didn't really betray them. The class was dog shit. So,
Whoa.
I mean, I had to choose, right? Okay, well, maybe it wasn't dog shit.
That was pretty harsh, man.
All right, listen. You know what? I was forced to play Hunter. Okay, they forced me. I didn't really want to choose Hunter. They forced me to play it. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
But you completely just stopped playing Shaman.
I mean, not completely, but I would say the second half of season 4.
Weekly keys don't count.
Okay, well, I mean that's something, right?
No, they actually do not count. You didn't push. Yeah. I was able to actually surpass you on my Shaman.
Yeah.
In Rio, because you just stopped playing and you just didn't play the entire season. Now that's pretty weird, champ. That's pretty weird, champ. You let an NA pleb pass you on Rio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm honored to be passed by you. It's not really NA pleb, you know. It's okay. If somebody passes me, at least it's a friend, you know. It's fine.
True.
Yeah.
I'll pass you on the street.
And by the way, just to say, I did want to play Shaman, but my guild did not allow me to play it. Quote me on this, okay?
Wait. Are you top 50?
I don't think so.
Are you top 50 world?
No, we're like top 69, 60 something, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, the guild that you made called the Boys?
Oh wait, that was in a very early stage of season.
Which guild are you talking? I think you're just digging yourself a hole here, buddy.
No. The guild is called. Hold on. The guild is called Nameless on European Realms Tile and Mill. we're top 69, and
Okay, but didn't
And,
we
by the
just
way-
say? Didn't we just say that if you're not like top 50 guild, you can play whatever the heck you want? And you agreed.
True.
You agreed. You were like,
Listen,
yeah,
okay.
screw those officers that tell you whatever you don't want to
Let me
play.
explain, okay?
So you didn't
My
even want to
guild-
play Shaman.
Hey, listen, my guild is trying to break the top 50, okay? So I'm doing my best as a player to play whatever is necessary to achieve that goal. It doesn't really matter if I play tank, healer, rest shaman, ranged, melee. I wouldn't care, you know? So I'm a big team player, you know? If that's what it needed to be, I'm gonna do it. Just like I did with my own personal guild when I had it. I healed, I DPS, I fucking benched myself, you know? So I would say I'm a big team player, and it's the truth.
Shaman players are not selfish. This is true. This is true. Okay. Okay. I'll give you a minor pass with keeping my eyes on you for Shadowlands.
Okay, I swear, I'm gonna bring somebody from my guild that can confirm. You know, our guild is super hardcore.
Whoa,
We rate
this is
7
a
days
very
week.
professional podcast. You can't just bring anybody in here.
All right, fine, fair enough. Okay, let's just like scrap the topic. Let's just say that it might have been a miscommunication. Okay, it might have been a miscommunication on my end, and you know, I sincerely apologize. But the truth is, Shaman was Doc in the season 4 Mythic Plus, so I had to choose. Right?
It wasn't dog,
It-
man.
Okay,
wasn't
it was
Doc.
okay. It wasn't Doc. It was, let's just say, it was decent. Okay, it was decent.
It was probably the 4th best ranged.
All right, I mean, who the fuck remembers the 4th best range? Everybody wants to see the best range spec. Like,
Yeah, simp
okay,
for the
it's like-
fire mage. Simp for the fire mage.
I mean, I wasn't playing fire. I was anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
just
didn't
scrubbed
play
that.
fire mage. Like what? You
No,
played.
I didn't, because that spec was. Anyway, I don't want to go into that because that spec was bullshit as well. It was bullshit.
Are you about to say it was dog?
No, it's not dog. It's like, how can I
What
say?
does dog even mean if you just call everything
on.
dog?
Hold on. I have a picture of I have a picture of the majority of fire mages in Mythic Plus. Let me just show you. Okay, let me just show it to you really quick.
Chat's saying
just-
if it's
let me-
not meta, it's dog. Is that true, Petko?
I mean, they're pretty much right. I mean,
You're
I
the
think I've said it.
problem. People
I
like
mean,
you
what
are
do
the
you mean?
problem when it comes to the community's perception of classes.
Okay. Let me send you something. Okay, this is pretty much majority of the fire mages right now. Okay, not right now, but in Mythic Plus, the past season. Where the fuck? Oh, sorry, saying the fuck. Sending it right now. See, this picture right now is a representation of the majority of fire mages during season 4. They had no idea what they're doing, but you know what? Combust, and that's it. I mean, you can show it on stream.
I am showing it on stream, dude. That's
Alright.
so funny. Holy crap. Mojo Jojo. Hey. It's a nice mug you got there. Are you Wait, you could have been Mojo Jojo.
I could have been, but I was born in different times.
Yeah, weren't you
uh,
born in
destined.
1996?
Well, yeah, exactly. 1996, 20th of July.
Yeah, because you were bald, I thought you were older than me.
No, actually, no. I said this to my share. I'm not really bald. I'm just like, my hair is short, you know, so you cannot really see it. You know, actually, like, okay, out of the context, the first time I got bald, I was 12. I was 12, and I shaved my head with my friends. And ever since, I keep the same haircut for the, you know, over and over. So, no joke. I think I kind of got used to the haircut, and I'm, you know, sticking with it ever since. I haven't really done any modifications with my hair, like, at all, ever. Never experimented. So yeah, I don't know. It's maybe
And you
it's
have a
kinda
good
weird.
hairline too. Like even though your hair is very short,
I mean, I could have, but I don't know. I just never had the desire to grow it. You know, I'm feeling perfectly sexy with my hair, so I'm fine with it. I'm trying to embrace the boat community. Well, quote unquote boat. Uh, People usually are ashamed when they have receiving hair, so I'm trying to represent, people the best possible way. Trying to be handsome. Oh, I do my best, but I guess I fail at that. But anyway.
no, you succeed. It's okay.
Okay.
Well, we
Thank
will
you,
Petko simp for you today,
thank
but
you.
we will never forget your betrayal.
Well, I can, I can pay back with my with the future seasons. I'll definitely try to pay back.
Okay, pay it forward. So, this pretty much concludes our podcast for today. We touched on a lot of stuff, and I'm glad that we got together. You've been very busy, Petko. Do you want to take a moment just to like tell everybody what you've been doing? Talk about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently, I would just say I'm an artist. You know, I specialize in OnlyFans content, so I've been busy with that. I'm trying to be a porn star, but at the moment, I'm not really finding any kind of.
This is a serious podcast. This is a professional podcast.
I mean, it's not. Oh, okay. All right. Scrap that. Sorry. That was not meant to. Okay. You know what?
I was talking about your damn Icy-veins guides and.
Oh. All right. Listen. Can we hold on?
You idiot!
Okay. Can this production scrap the last 1 minute? Like the last 2 minutes? Can we scrap that somehow?
No.
Like to.
Nope.
No. All right. Well, I slipped a bit. Okay. I would say. Okay. Listen. I had a script that I'm reading right now. I'm not really thinking these things. I have a script reading, and
it's not scripted. This was completely winged it. Look, you want to go back in the messages that we talked about?
Yeah. Well,
I asked
Andy,
you,
come on,
hey, you want to do a practice run before we go live? And then you said, nah, no need to do practice runs. Show up in 30 minutes and we roll with the flow.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
I guess your flow was OnlyFans and porn star talk.
I mean, that's not really true. I'm just like, the cherry on the top.
Exposed.
Anyway, well, to get back to the topic, yes, I'm the current writer for Mythic Plus section of Icy-veins, so I'm doing tons of work in regards of this, and currently I've been working on getting out tier lists for Mythic Plus for tanks, healers, melee and range DPS. If you guys want to check them out, I can link it. I've actually spent a lot of time and research and talked to one of the best players in the world from all of the regions to confirm and make actually the best possible Mythic Plus tier list, which I pretty much update every single beta update, pretty much every single week or as often as necessary. And this will continue to live on up until the release of Shadowlands, and then confirming the actual tier list at the end. So that will progressively evolve after every week. So it's definitely something interesting to check it out. I can
give me the links to those, and then I'll leave them in the description of the video down below, so that people at home that are interested in Petko's content can definitely take a look at that. Click on them, figure out what he's doing over there, and you're gonna have to slide me in the DMs the link to your OnlyFans account so that I can subscribe to it.
Let me just link it on Discord. Hold on, I linked it in chat. Oh, but let me link it in Discord. But I pretty much have it. Can we also scrap the part where I say something about porn stars? That was kind of a leak, okay? I didn't really mean to say that. That was kind of a review afterwards where I was like trying to talk to my people, but
this video is probably not going to be able to be monetized, so it's fine if we just leave it in.
All right. I mean, it's up to you. I don't mind revealing myself, but I was kind of keeping it as a secret, and I was about to do like a Christmas reveal, but I guess I slipped up, and yeah, you know the rest.
That's okay.
I mean, I heard that Johnny Sins is retiring, so someone gotta fill the shoes, right?
You're just a gorilla. It's okay. You're just all right. Well, as we were saying, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Onlyshams podcast. This is our second one. Obviously, there's going to be more coming into the. My name is Barokoshama, and this is Petko. If you guys are interested in the more content that we're going to be doing, I'll be leaving Petko's stream as well as YouTube channel down below. Links to those so you guys can subscribe to that content. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to me for more Elemental Shaman content going into the future. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to check out my Twitch page as well, twitch.tv/Barokoshama, as well as my Patreon page where you can get exclusive content. And we'll do a quick self-plug. We now have Barokoshama merch, fucking Shaman hoodies, t-shirts, sweaters, mugs. The link to that online store will be in the description down below. Do you have a store where you can get your big banana mug?
No,
When we're talking about mugs.
No, I don't. But do you like my mug?
I do like your mug.
You know what? I can tell you how to get it.
All right, tell me in my DMs. I do
Just
really
change-
want to know where you have this big banana.
Yeah. Well, listen. It was a gift from a very special person of mine. Come on. Let's just say how can I say a special friend? Okay.
A simp?
No. Well, kinda. Maybe. Anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, could be. Could be.
All right. Well, this is us signing off, guys. Thank you so much. Keep calm and Maelstrom on. Do you have a special saying?
Not really. I just says yeah,
Okay.
and I kicked him out. There you go.
Get out of here. All right.
Alright, kid.
See ya.
Alright. Peace out, boys.